Okay, here goes nothing. First things first, the head is unattached. This wire here, which I'm assuming that this is the part of the alarm that doesn't work, the overheat alarm, but this end plugs in right down here. So that's the first thing. You're gonna take the head and set that aside. Now take this off, disconnect this wire harness, it just pulls out there, and then we got these two wires from the wiring harness, blue and green, go respectively over here. They just pull right out. So that just comes right out there. I'll just put that out of the way for now. And the next thing we're gonna do, I guess, is disconnect. Well, I guess I only really need to disconnect these two hoses. Oh, and this hose. And then on the other side, we got the power coming in. One to the solenoid here, and the other one down here. So I'm going to disconnect those ones. Alright, another note over here. The solenoid here, on the bottom of the solenoid, this is the positive cable. The red cable here. And we got the negative down here, which I'm unscrewing there. Alright, next thing we gotta do, this is a 10mm nut, so I gotta take that off. Over here we have this little switch. So open that up, this will pop up. I need to take that nut off, pull it out there. I have to make a distinction off which side I took this off of. Well, we'll get them off and see. It looks like this one might be longer than the other side. Oh, this is also, I guess we're gonna have to possibly make an adjustment there too when we put it back on. I'm gonna try not to move any threads or anything, but pop that up. I'll unscrew that. Alright, before I take that bolt all the way out, I'll make another note what it's connected to on the bottom. Down here where, see my finger? Okay, well, see that? It's up underneath. See that bolt goes through and connected to that little swing arm down there. Okay, we had to remove the the fuel hose adapter to get everything out of that square. I'm gonna put that back on real quick so it doesn't get lost. It's just a 10mm bolt right into there. The next thing we gotta do is unplug these two wires, and then the engine's basically free. These are color coded. Again, we got a bluish green color and then a light green here, and the other side same deal. So that's what they look like, and yeah, that's that simple. Just unplug there. So now we don't have anything left other than the mounting and whatnot, holding this engine onto the boat. It looks like 1, 2, 3, and 4 is really all that's holding this onto the casing, but we'll find out when I undo those and try to lift this sucker up. Before I get too far ahead of myself, this is the distinction between these two different, you know, one is clearly longer than the other. This one is for the passenger side, and this one is for the driver's side. So a long one's the driver's side, steering wheel part of the boat, and a shorter one, glove box. And these bolts down here are 13 millimeters. Okay, these 4 13 millimeter bolts are the big ones, hold the engine down for there. I took those out, it still doesn't seem to budge, so we're gonna see what's next. I got a bolt here, one here, and one on the adjacent side that I can see. So we'll pull those out and see what that does. And these 4 go in their own little baggie. Alright, after having removed these 2 bolts, they were 5/16 heads, and 2 in the front, one here and the one on the other side. I got this off. This goes up under here like this and covers all 8 more big bolts. And screw sequence. The 2 long ones go down, one, you know, one here, one there. The 2 short ones go up underneath like that. Okay, so they're gonna get their own little bag also. Alright, one thing to note here, pulling these bolts out down here, the nuts just don't come off. The whole bolt comes out like that. Nut's still on there. I mean, I guess they do that because they get corroded on pretty good. I just want to make a note here. This one looks especially disgusting, and exact opposite of that one. This one is very, very corroded, you know, compared with the rest of them. So I'm gonna have to polish all these up before I put them back in also. Alright, quick note, always a lesson to learn. Here's that swing arm I was talking about earlier, and well, when I initially disconnected this from it, what I did was I put the screw back on, and yeah, don't do that. It makes a pain in the ass unscrewing that with one hand while holding this heavy ass motor with the other hand. But we're okay. Now this little plastic deal, I don't know where the hell this came from. I'm thinking maybe right here, you know, but there's not one on the other side. They do fit a little loose, but they fit. So I'm thinking maybe it just came in there, because there's only one. This came off the bottom of the motor, which I wouldn't know yet. But alright, I guess I'm gonna move this heavy bastard, put it on my tailgate where maybe I could do some work on it. Alright, so I guess that's the, you know, so far the biggest pain in the rear. Okay, for the sake of not losing anything and keeping my lower unit protected, I took the 2 small 5/16s back out of the bag here, and put them one here and one there to hold the, you know, lower portion of the cowl on, so I can lock the lid down. And I put everything back in their respective positions. As far as these go, fuel line, battery cables, electrical connections, so nothing's out here exposed to the elements once I put the cover on. Now I do notice that now that this is back on, I don't know if it was, I mean, it was hooked up to the engine, so maybe it wouldn't be loose at all, but I do notice that maybe I did have another little plastic thing there that maybe it was or wasn't there. Maybe it's missing or not missing, but the other one that I said I didn't know where it went, I think I squeezed it down in here. Actually, no, it's not. Oh yeah, it's right here on the end here, and that kind of seems like it keeps it from wiggling as much as Just on this side. This is got a lot of wiggle room. Ah, look at that. Bingo. Alright. Let's see. Yep, that's it. So watch it, guys. If you're doing the same job, there's a lot of little BS that get lost somewhere. Now we're gonna put this, slide this back down in here. This brings up a valid point. When I, provided I don't take that engine apart and find a lot of stuff terribly wrong, once I get it all back together, I'm gonna need to know where to adjust all of these things. What setting do I put this on? Does it matter when that's gonna be a pain in the neck. Taking things apart, it's easy. Alright, well, that's where we're at for now. I got the engine, little heavy little bastard right here. So that's where we're at so far. But I think that's that's the heavy lifting for now. Well, once I start taking it apart, we'll see what's what. All right, so I was saying is we got these, one, nut in the washer, and then the washer off. Those are these three, and those are 11 millimeters, and then we got this 5/16 bolt for this ground wire. No washer, just the bolt. And we're gonna put that in the same bag as those three. So now this whole piece can be removed to expose the electrical connections. And we'll figure out how to get that off, and then I'll show you that. Okay, so there's a couple of, alright, just like that, right? Pull that fuse out of the little fuse box, and that's not a standard size fuse box. I put that one in. The standard one was missing. Alright, we got a couple hooks back here. We had a plastic clamp. Probably can't see it, but over here I just popped it open with a screwdriver. You see this long hose. If you followed around all these wires inside that tubing, we followed around right over here, and it looks like somebody had already exposed the wire. I guess the previous owner, or maybe that's just how they had it. But these are all color coded, and so we're just gonna disconnect them from here. We got a yellow with a black stripe, yellow with a black stripe, black, black, green and white, so they all match up. And we got a light green and a white, light green and white. This one, I believe, this was the one for the head right there. So it's not all that bad actually if we do it this way. And obviously these are gonna go on the solenoid. Right, so we got two reds on the lower portion of the solenoid, and then we have the yellow on the side of the solenoid. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and disconnect this from this side. And we have the blacks going on to the negative terminal. We've got 3 black all connected at the end, and then the one stray from that same connection follows up to the other side of the solenoid. So yeah, I think it's gonna be easier to just go ahead and disconnect them right here, and I'll get those out of the way. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, we've got them all disconnected now. Oh, never mind, I missed a couple. Next up. Okay, now we have them all disconnected. So see how that runs? It just goes right there behind the carburetors and all that stuff. Fits right through. So walk around, come around this hook. So now that's disconnected. Now what we have to do is I have to follow these wires around. I gotta cut this tie down and cut that tie down and disconnect those wires as well. Alright, well I cut the tie down, and see what I discovered here. I Hang on a second. Stupid lens. Hang on. Maybe that's better. Yeah, see, some of these wires got extremely hot, and they're all kind of stuck together a little bit. Yeah, look at that. That's not good at all, huh? So, yeah, I don't know what that means. Maybe just engine overheating. Anyway, let me get these separated with two hands and see what they look like. All right, well, this is pretty ugly. Okay, so we got two greens goes into one male into female of two. Same with the white and the green stripe. It's 1 into 2. The yellows, man, these are look at this. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty freaking foolboard, if you ask me. I haven't even tried to separate these yet to see if they're gonna just come apart. I might have to just cut these and rewire the damn thing. But we got one single yellow into one single yellow. I'm gonna have to make this distinguished somehow, and another single yellow into a single yellow. We got a black with a white stripe, 1 into 2. We got 2 here, 1 there, and over here we have solid gray into solid gray, 1 into 1. I'm gonna take a Sharpie to this yellow, one of these yellows, to match them up. I'll put a black mark on here, a black mark on here, and see if I can get these things separated. Alright, I got them separated on this side. Now we have blue, purple, gray, and solid white connect over here, right here. And there's a little wire tie holding them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blue wire tie around those ones, so I know they go on the other side, and then I'm going to disconnect them from the other side. Alright, just forgive any confusion in the future. We got a different color blue on the bottom here than on the top. This one really kind of looks green to me. Down here we got blue, and the rest of these match up pretty well. But I'm also going to put a blue wire tie on the top there, so we know that that goes to the blue wire tie down here. Okay, so that's done. So we got these on this blue wire tie. They match up with these on this blue wire tie. So we go through the hole, hook them up, and tie them off on the other side of this plate here. Now this black wire is a ground wire. It goes right here. That's to a 5/16 head or bolt. It's a 5/16 bolt. So I'm going to get this off, and then our plate should be free. And there it is. Free at last. That's not actually too bad. That'll be easy to reconnect. Just have to worry about doing something with these things. But yeah, so progress. Alright, I'm gonna move next, I guess, to the carburetors. I've done those a bunch of times, so that's fairly easy. Alright, I'm gonna pull the carburetors off. Now these are fairly easy. We can take them both off at the same time, this one and this one. You know, provided that you're not going to rebuild it. If you rebuild it, then you gotta take it further apart. But just to see where the hoses are oriented, you got this line that comes out the front of the top carburetor and branches off, branches down into the front of the bottom carburetor, and then from the side right over here. So we're gonna unplug that. Well, I'm gonna put the camera down and do it, so I don't rip anything. And then from the bottom of this carburetor bowl, the top carburetor bowl goes to the bottom there. So we unplug those. Our fuel line over here obviously is already disconnected, so we can just leave that as it is, hooked up to here. So we take this bolt off, and the opposite sides. And then the only other thing we gotta do is snap this off. little piece of plastic right there. So we move that out of our way, and this is how you reach the bolts. Just lift that up to reach the bolt. And the trick with the top bolt is, alright, I had to go free up some space on the camera memory, but what I was saying was when we remove this bolt here, we loosen it up, and then that one, and we have to kind of shimmy the car back, loosen it, shimmy the car back, loosen it, because you see it's too tight here. You can't just unscrew the nut all the way, because it'll stop here. So you gotta go back and forth and break the car back that way. And alright, well, I'm gonna get that off now, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I'm back. So took the carburetors off and put them away. Put the bolts back on. Just know where those are, the nuts anyway. So you got those 4 nuts, and I started taking the starter off. You just undo the nuts from the top there, and then below there's this little this deal here it sits on, and there's the nut. So we gotta take that out, or the bolt. Okay, that was easy. All I did was just loosen that screw up a little bit, just enough to turn that to the side. Starter drops right out. So then we just disconnect the cable here. Top of the solenoid goes to the bottom. Bottom of the starter, top of the solenoid. Okay, I'm gonna try and separate the block. We got some 3/8 bolts. Here's one. This looks like one of the pry spots right here. The rest of them are on the other side. We got one up here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That gotta be number 10. So on the other side, same deal. We got one here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Actually, so we got more on that side. Oh, and we have over here where the kind of kicks out a little bit. We got a hook for a wiring harness and our ground wire. So we'll have to make note of that and put it back in a proper position later. Strange. After a recount, okay, so I did not pull this one out. It must have already been missing. So this has definitely been worked on before. Also, this one is a different color, and there was one hiding up there. So we got 12 on each side. I guess I'll have to find the right spot for that there. Alright, on the bottom we have some Allen bolts. This 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're about a 5/16 Allen wrench head. There's another one down here. I don't know if we need to take that one out yet. I'm not even sure if we have to take these ones out, but some of them are pretty corroded, so I had to actually, the proper Allen wrench isn't going to fit out right, so what I do is line it up, give it a few shots with the hammer, knock off some of that corrosion, get it seated. I'm actually going to spray this one a little bit with some silicone spray, and then give that a few pops with the hammer, and then we'll be able to break it loose. I just realized there's more evidence that it's been worked on before. As I'm getting these bolts out, you see a bang mark here and a bang mark here. So they had the Allen wrench in like this and banged it down. This one I took out like this, put the Allen wrench straight in, gave it a shot on the end with the hammer, and grabbed it right here with the big channel locks. And now I'm looking at the bang mark over here saying somebody else did it that way with the hammer. So yeah, this ain't this motor's first time being run through this drill. Hopefully I'll do better than the last guy. Just a little demonstration. I think this is a hell of a lot easier to get the Allen wrench out this way. Channel locks, you know, You can grab it up front, or if you got it broken loose, you can just grab it on the bottom here and turn it. So the only difficult part is trying to videotape and do it at the same time, but relatively easy. Alright, par for the course. This will have to come out because it's that long, and you know, so clearly that's going to go all the way down through. That one will have to come out. There's one there, and if I find any more, I'll let you know. Alright, took out 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here, 2 bolts, one there and one there, and of course from bottom to top in ascending order we had 2 smaller ones, 2 longest ones in the middle, I guess, and well, hold on. Oh, are you kidding me? Alright, well, we got a few different sizes here. 2 short ones on the bottom, and then well, these 2 go in the middle, and these 2 go on top, and the shorter one is going to be over here because it's well, maybe you can see from the top view, this one comes out further, that hole, so the shorter one's going to be over here under the flywheel next to the electrical connections. And hopefully that's all the bolts that I need to take out to separate this thing. Alright, well, I'm back. I took out this bolt. This was a long one, long Allen head. And I took out these 3, and these were short ones. The difference. So I'm going to sack them and put them with the rest of my stuff. They all 3 have washers on them, but that'll be in the Ziploc bag together. So I think this should pull right off now, and then this will probably have to come off somehow. So we'll figure that out too. Okay, I pulled the 2 small Allen bolts, one from here, one from here. These little guys here, I'm gonna put them in the same package like I did with these 3 and that one. Alright, burning the midnight oil. Lower carburetor adapter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. I used a 3/8 socket on this. Probably can go a little bit smaller, but it did the trick. So no stripping, it wasn't real tight, nice and easy. So now I'm going to take off, do the same on the top, and then this pulls out. And I was informed by some comrades on iBoats, there they are, some hidden Allen bolts holding the block together. So we're going to pull those out too. Okay, we're taking, well, Pasquale, come here and hold this. Okay, I'm taking this off, the top carburetor adapter. I took this bolt out, goes through here and through there. Taking this one off now, and that's going to be loose, so I'm going to put that in the package with them. Now these screws are a little bit longer, not much, but they're a little bit longer than the ones I took out of the bottom carburetor adapter, and I'm sure that's to make up for the size of this plate here. So I wanted to make a note when we put it back together. That goes there. Alright, also top carburetor adapter on the one side is where the other thing goes, and on this side there's a little hook for wiring harness or fuel line or something, and up here there's the guard of the flywheel, so that's probably going to be a little bit longer bolts also. So those 2, that one, and the 2 on the other side. Okay, so bolts all out, all the accessories off, and here's what we look like. Top one's a little bit different than the bottom one, see? So let's set that aside. And then we got some flathead screws, which is unexpected and interesting. Flatheads in there, and Allen wrench bolts in here. So I guess we'll see what's what. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Once you take out those 4 flatheads, this sits on there just like that, and these come out individually. So this would be that side, and this would be that side, and then it kind of looks like the other one. Not quite sure why they built it that way yet, but ta-da! The other Allen bolts. Alright, slow but steady. Works. Okay, 2 bolts out of there. 2 bolts out of there. Was not too bad. Here they are. And they are going into a Ziploc bag. Okay, I don't know if I've been neglecting this adapter plate a little bit. Hold this light.
Sure.
Hold it right there. Okay, so once you get out all the obvious bolts, like the 3 there and the 1 there, you have to find the one that's hiding under the gasket right here, and the one that's hiding under the gasket right here. So you peel the gasket back. Once you think you got them all, look again. There was 2 hiding. So now I got them, and now the adapter plate is off. And voila.
Whoa.
We've made progress.
What is this?
Alright, a couple notes here. Now, let's get the crank off. This nut's gotta come off. This is not a, it's a little smaller than a 1-inch. I was able to take it off with the 1-inch socket, but here's the 1-inch socket. And got a little wiggle room in there, but that's what works. Anything bigger than 1 inch is not going to work. Inch and 6-point, inch and 16ths won't even fit in here. A 12-point will, but it'll just spin around the bolt. So you need at maximum the biggest is a 1 inch, but it's actually a little smaller. I'm just not sure exactly which size it is. So next we're going to try to get this off with bolt puller that I bought at Harbor Freight for 12 bucks. So I'm gonna get that hooked up and see how that works. Alright, one step closer. As you can see, we got the block split already. I just had to get this off. This was a major pain in the huevos. So here's what you needed. You got these 3 holes here. You got to find 3 sizable bolts. Screw them in there. Tighten this. I'm loosening it to show you. See how that works? When you put that on, you tighten that down. It pushes up against the heads of these bolts. Pushes the flywheel down, or bolts work against the flywheel, and this works against the engine, and pops it loose. Now it doesn't actually seem to work that easy. So for all intents and purposes, this 14-inch or 14 millimeter socket is now part of my adapter here, because I hammered that sucker on there real good with a little sledge. I was trying to baby it for a long time and nothing was happening like that. But give it a little manhandling. Gave that, as you can see, some shots. And well, first I gave this some shots to the point that this no longer fit, and I had to beat that on, and now it's a permanent fixture. So yeah, underneath we got 6 Allen head bolts on the starter, and that is hopefully going to be it for us to be able to split this block. So we'll find out soon. Another note, on top of the flywheel, once you get that nut off, that nut right there, there's this big washer. So those go for the top of the flywheel, and I used a big 1-inch impact socket on a wrench, but then I found the actual size. This is a 15/16. I found that in my shed. Figures I already had what I needed, and I had to go out and buy some other junk anyway, but par for the course. Alright, I got out these 6. Oh, and there, don't lose them. I got out these 6 Allen head bolts from the top of the starter, and they are going in with the flywheel washer and nut. And note how this was oriented. We have 3 went there, 3 went there. That's pretty obvious where they came from. This particular electrical connection faces the front of the cylinder. If it makes a difference, I'm putting it back on exactly the way it came off. Oh, well, that one stays there. So let's look at it this way.
When I'm out on the water, I wear an inflatable life jacket.
This electrical connection faces the side where our ignition stuff goes. So we're gonna take that off, and now this here is gonna come off next. We're gonna have to undo this bolt, or actually we'll just undo this one and leave this connected, and then we'll have to undo these 2, and this whole thing will come off for one shot. Alright, I want to make a note here. This here that we unscrewed, it's oriented like this. This screw here goes through here, and then nut on top. So I'm just going to leave those connected to this piece here, and I'm going to box that up with the starter. So actually we can take that off. And now down here we got to take these bolts out, right? I got this one out. This is an 8mm or 5/16, whichever. But I want to also make note, we got this little washer deal under this little nipple. If you can see it, there's a little black nipple here. This is underneath that, on top of this plastic. And so that's it. Oh, yeah, so that's it. Just gotta pull that nut out, and then we could probably slide it out of here, but we'll find out. Okay, you know what? The more I look at this, the less reason I have to actually take it off. It's not in my way at all. But there's actually 2 washers here, so one's gonna go right under that nipple, and one's gonna go just above that one. But for now, I'm just gonna leave that on. I'm gonna put the hardware that I took off. I'm gonna just put it in that Ziploc with the flywheel hardware, and what we will have to disconnect. Let's see, we got our we're ready to split this open. So what we'll have to disconnect is this line right here. It screws in right there. Also, just in case things get shifted around, make note of the spring. How this kind of just L's into right there. Because you know, inevitably things move around, and we want to make sure we put them back in the right spots. On the other side of the block, looks like a go. There's really nothing in the way on the other side of the block. Okay, now underneath the last thing we took off, underneath this thing, we've got, you know, 6 more Allen heads, and I can't tell if that's just junk in there. Yeah, it's some kind of silicone type material, so that's gonna stay. So we're gonna take off. Okay, we got a total of 5. We got 3 here, 2 there, and we're gonna see what's underneath there. That might be the last piece before we split the block. Okay, so we'll recap. We're gonna leave this. We're gonna disconnect this from this side only. We're gonna take out these 5 and also put them with our flywheel hardware. Okay, Mercury and Force like to mess with us, so let's make a note here. The last Allen wrenches we took out were a metric 4 Allen wrench, is what I used. And now we are using a standard 3/16 Allen wrench to remove these ones. Don't ask me why they do things like this. It's just the way things are. Okay, I got these 6 bolts out. They're all the same size. However, one of them has, I wish this freaking camera was so blurry. one of them's got little silicone stuff on the top that came out from over here, and then when you lift up on here, you can see there's some, you know, some stringy kind of gasket type material underneath there, and it looks like we are ready to split this. I don't think this is necessary, but it says front on here, facing, you know, the opposite side of the pistons, the rear of the pistons. But you know, it's not necessary because there's 3 bolts here, 3 bolt holes here. So that is going to go there. This is also going to go with the flywheel package. Okay, note here. Alright, we unscrewed this. We used the 5/16 little opening. You see how I'm holding this? Well, first note there's a little screen in there, so that needs to be there when we put it back together. See I'm holding it? See how it's curled? So when we put it back on, we're going to have to wind that up in order to screw it back in. So, well, that looks like the last piece. I'm going to clear off the table a little bit and lay this thing down and split it open. Okay, I decided to take this off anyway, just to get it out of the way. We just slid it right, you know, right down through. So I'm going to set that aside. The spring is still on it. Nothing can come off of it the way it sits, except for this if somebody knocks it off, but that's not going to happen. So we're going to set that there. Getting ready for the moment of truth here. See what we got. Give me that camera.
Sure.
Okay. Now, see what we got here? Clean. 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 Nasty. All metal shavings. Literally, just straight up metal shavings. Mix a little oil. I also pulled a nugget out of here. See the size of this? Mother, sister, brother. This came out of there. So the lower cylinder's just jacked up. Let's see, metal shavings everywhere. Alright, hold this. Aim it out there, not at me. No, hold here. Alright, Alright, well, I see where we need the 12-point quarter inches. So 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there. Alright. Well, I guess we can get to work. Let me make a couple notes here before we do anything. This ring was like that. Or maybe I just did that. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be broken, but it is. Same one over there. And this one. I guess they're probably supposed to be tucked in somewhere. So that's 3. I don't see another one anywhere. So there's bearings in there, sliding up and down. Same here. That one's not budging. So, okay, well, we'll go from there. Point it over here. Are you watching? Alright, this, well, there goes part of it. Okay. Alright, see this? I don't know if this is supposed to be one solid piece or not. It, well, it was sliding around a minute ago, but I'm making this difficult. Alright, I don't know if this is supposed to be one solid piece. See? It rolls around, everything. I took these clamps off. So, you know, actually sits in a clamp like that. Looks kind of normal. Are you watching this? You see what I'm showing you?
Yeah. I'm watching in the video.
Okay. Alright. So that's that. Now, so that piston should actually come out. Alright. Yeah, this one is split also, I can see it. And so is this one. I guess they're supposed to be split. Alright, you can shut that off for now.
How? Just turn...
It was recording, right?
Yeah.
Alright, shut it off. Press power or the silver button or both.
Where do you want me to come from?
Okay, just sit right there for now. Alright, well. See what we got going on over here. Everything is unscrewed. There's 4 clamps and there's 4 sets of rollers or whatever they're called. I'm about to lift this off, so passing the camera off to my boy. Hold that.
Okay.
And voila. Okay, let's set this down. Let me see that. Alright, well, I guess I should be able to just push these pistons right out the other side now. So we will stand this up and try that. Go in the house. Ready?
Yeah.
Alright. Here we are. Wow. Look at that piston. See that?
Dang.
So I'm sure this chunk of metal came from here. Got a nice fat crack down here too. Yeah, this is barely a piston at all.
Man.
That is crap. But the good news is
the other ones are perfect.
the other ones are perfect. So yeah, I guess these will be the rings, and they will need to be replaced, I'm sure, because I'm sure they don't need to be that loose. I'll take these inside and clean them up, and I'll take this inside and clean it up and get a better look in the light. You can shut the camera off. Alright, one thing I neglected to do before splitting this was disconnect this line also. I'm sure it's the 5/16 also from the bottom cylinder. See, this where the starter goes. That's the bottom cylinder, and it comes off the bottom of the block here. So I don't know if this is a coincidence. Is that where the fuel gets dumped in? The bottom cylinder. That's completely trashed. Well, I mean, the cylinder itself is fine. It's just full of metal. Clean that out. The block itself is fine. Everything looks fine, except that one piston. See, even this is okay. It's just literally the piston eating the hell, and that cylinder, that scarring, you can kind of see it goes all the way through to the back of the cylinder. So it's not even a but all the other cylinders, and I'll have to do this in the daytime, but all the other cylinders look perfect. I don't see any, I mean, you guys tell me, but so imagine that these will need to be replaced or reset. Probably replaced. And I imagine these ones will have to be replaced. I'm not sure if these should all have this much play or not. I guess we'll find out. But I imagine I'm replacing the rings on here, the rings on the pistons and that piston, and boring that cylinder.